1902 saw one of the largest coal strikes in United States history. All through the anthracite coal mines of eastern Pennsylvania, membership of the United Mine Workers of America Union had swelled from 10,000 to 150,000 people due to successful strikes in the bituminous coal mines of the Midwest. It's already time for our first fun fact, and fun it is. Anthracite coal is harder and burns hotter, so it's used for heating. It burns cleanly with very little smoke and a large blue flame. It's especially rare compared to other types of coal, such as a soft bituminous coal. What makes the difference between the coals is their carbon content. Bituminous coal ranges from 77% to 87% carbon, and anthracite coal ranges above 87%. Hopefully that's our last fun fact. The issues of the coal strikes of 1899 and 1900 were still pressing in 1902. Although headway had been made in the Midwest, Eastern miners desired shorter workdays and a raise. The work was dangerous and hard, and they had families to feed. George Bear, head of the mines and henchman of the famous J.P. Morgan, had refused third-party mediation offered by the Union. He said,
"Anthracite mining is a business and not a religious, sentimental, or academic proposition. I could not, if I would, delegate this business management to even so highly a respectable body as the Civic Federation, nor can I call to my aid the eminent prelates you have named."
Teddy Roosevelt must have realized that,
Winter is coming.
and he rushed in to set things straight against the counsel of his Attorney General. He said to Attorney General Hanna,
"A coal famine in the winter is an ugly thing, and I fear we shall see terrible suffering and grave disaster."
Roosevelt gathered government officials, union representatives, and big coal management in an unprecedented summit. All he feared was political fallout from a coal shortage, and he first tried to end the strike by promising the miners that he would fix things after he studied the issue. This came from pressure from the coal companies saying that the strikers had killed 20 workers. However, this was a lie. The union refused this offer. Negotiations were not going well at this point, but J.P. Morgan forced the companies to heed the conclusion of a commission of 7 appointed members that represented all parties involved in the strike. At the initiation of the commission, the strike ended after 163 days. The commission interviewed 558 witnesses and heard closing arguments from George Bear and our good friend from the Scopes trial, Clarence Darrow. Bear said,
"These men don't suffer. Why, hell, half of them don't even speak English."
He doesn't seem very sympathetic. The commission reached its conclusion and awarded the miners a 10% raise and a 9-hour workday, half of what they struck for. The anthracite strike was dealt with in an unorthodox manner, and although it posed a threat, homes were well heated that winter. This showed that Roosevelt was a president that got things done, that he was a president that knew what he was doing. Even though he threatened both sides, he ended up creating the Department of Commerce and Labor to study the employees. This allowed the U.S. government to get a good sense of what companies were actually doing, even companies outside of the coal companies.